feel like it's gonna go pretty easily on its own here. Here's the new pump, right from them. This is what they use. Would recommend you do this when your exhaust manifold's cooled off, because that will be no fun otherwise. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben. I'm here to help you to get the confidence you need to do it yourself. And today we're working on the 2018 Sierra. We had a little bit of issue, pretty common on these trucks, from the 18s to the, I guess the 14s to the 18, 19, whatever it is. Sierra 1500, Silverado 1500, Yukon, Tahoe, Suburban, all the 1500 trucks. And what they ended up doing in 2014 when they went to the new LT motors from the LS base motors, they actually ditched off the power steering pump, went to an electric system that way. But in replacing that, they also went to a vacuum pump system for the braking. Something to do with the cylinder deactivation or some garbage, whatever. Seems to be a complex thing that really probably didn't need to be as complex as it was. But anyway, what happens is the pumps fail and people find that they're driving along and they get an error, something about brake system. The pedal might get hard to push, it might get kind of squishy, whatever. And basically what happens is the vacuum pump fails and it doesn't allow you to push the brakes in properly. So I don't know if it's detrimental, but it can be kind of freaky. And if you have this issue, it's something you want to solve fairly quickly. So we had that light come on a little while ago. Pretty amazing it's as warm as it is right now, but regardless, I should have done this when it was warmer. Here we are. Today we're going to try and put that pump into the truck. So let's take a look at the vacuum pump. So if you open up the hood, regardless of it's a 5.3 or 6.2, V8 doesn't really matter. They're the same thing. I don't know if the V6s are the same, but definitely the V8s are. And you'll see down here, there's a pulley, and it kind of looks like it could be the power steering pump, because if you're a GM truck guy, that's where the power steering pump's been for years. There's no power steering pump there anymore because it's all electric. In its place is this vacuum pump. And you can see that it's a single belt that drives that vacuum pump all on its own. And that pump's sole purpose is to provide extra braking pressure for the braking system. So you can see here, you got a line that comes up. That's what this guy is. And he goes right into your brake booster. I have popped this off. If you pull this out on its own, and you'll hear it go because it's under pressure, and it'll actually be fairly difficult. It should be difficult to pull this out of here. You should check inside there for oil. I checked in mine. There's not. Push it back in there. Apparently, if there can be, on some of these pump failures, there can be an internal, the diaphragm starts leaking and starts pushing oil into the system. So because it's using engine oil, it sucks it through there, puts it into your brake booster. So GM's recommendation is to replace the line and the booster, actually, if that does happen. So it's best, if you're seeing this pump to be an issue, to get that replaced sooner or later, so you don't have to do all that. Here's the new pump. See a little diaphragm thing that pops in and out. That might look different than yours, but apparently they made an upgrade to these designs, so hopefully that's the case. This one's a Wabco. It says it was made in China, I think, so that's always comforting. But it's a direct GM part, this one, so it's got a GM sticker on it, so it's right from them. This is what they use. Comes with some new gasket, a couple new bolts. It's a stretch fit belt that goes on here. Goes around the drive shaft, or around the crank pulley, sorry, and it's just one little belt that runs this all on its own. Stretch that off. Probably should replace that. Didn't order one yet. Hopefully I can get this going today without that, and we'll get the belt replaced sooner. This is the new pump, so that's supposed to be the deal. This is where that vacuum line will plug into there. The biggest thing with this project, definitely going to be getting in there. What we're going to end up doing, can't see it completely from here, but it's all covered in the bottom. We're going to take off the front skid plate, and that should get us around there. There's a wiring harness, of course. You got at least one of those and everything, and we'll pull that out and swap her all in there. So hopefully this isn't too complex. Worked on in GM vehicles, it shouldn't be any surprise that you got at least one 15 mil. My 2014 truck, somebody had flipping driven into something, and this was all smashed underneath here. Okay, so I got the skid plate off. Can't say I'm super impressed with that, because like one of the bolts flipping broke out of there. So that one right there. So the other ones were all kind of rusty, but it's kind of a bummer that had to bust off. So anyway, it opens that up, so you actually can get in here fairly good to service everything. That's super impressive, General. But that guy right there, that's what we're trying to get out of here. You won't need to be on my channel long to realize how much I usually brag about how easy it is for the GM stuff to be worked on, which is why I buy it. This is a prime example why. Just take one cover off and you've got all this great serviceability space here. It always looks easier in the videos, doesn't it? This little safety thing here. There we go, that popped down. Oh, I hate these clips. Misery. It's always worse when it's like kind of cold outside. Okay, so we're gonna try and pop that guy off. We're gonna hit that clip and then we're gonna punch these guys out. There's a level of swearing I think that's required with DIY projects, but I honestly do try and minimize it. I'm guessing this is a lot easier when it's in a shop, on a lift, you know? Like, how much time you gotta burn on the clipping this stupid thing? Oh, you ever one of those days you just don't want to be doing what you're doing? You're like, it's not the job, it's not the problem. It's just, I just don't want to be doing this right now. So anyway, what we're gonna attempt to do here, get over your light. I just hate laying upside down. Anyway, quit complaining. Okay, so we're gonna stick a 15/16 socket on the crank pulley. We're gonna shove a screwdriver underneath that there belt, a little guy belt there, and the screwdriver is gonna roll around the pulley and hopefully that'll pop the belt off. And then we're gonna go back to working on that clip because I got frustrated and quit doing that. So we're gonna try that next. 15/16 socket. Okay. Okay. Crank, and there's the belt right off there, I think. Like that screwdriver. There it goes. Yeah. I don't know. You're probably supposed to replace that belt, but we're gonna do that another day. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is at this particular juncture with the clip, but it's not wanting to come off. We're gonna attempt to see if I can remove this wiring harness without worrying about that. There's a little clip back there. He's got to come off. He pops out that way. Just pops off like that. That's one. Doesn't look like I got this guy here. These two both got to come off. You're prying on plastic to get the plastic out. And then of course they're going to bust because it's cold outside. Okay, we'll get that guy out and then we're going to try and move this back a little bit. See how that goes. I don't even want to tell you how things are going on the bottom there, but I thought we'd go to the top. And to get that vacuum, this vacuum line off here, get out of here. Okay, so you got your vacuum line coming in here, it's coming to the side of the pump. There's a little heat shield. You got to pull this guy back. He just kind of folds. You're going to need him, so don't break it off. But then there's a little red clip here, and there's a tab on the back side and a tab on the top side. You pop those tabs just lightly, slide him down, and then he should just wiggle off there. He should. There he goes. Okay, he didn't even wiggle, he just slid. That's enough to get him out of the way. And then there are 4 13mm bolts on this thing. And one there, and 2 are back behind the shaft there. So we're gonna put those in there and see how that goes. Guys, gotta remember that sometimes you can get things out, but you gotta get it back in too, right? There's so much room to work in here. Like a quarter return either way. It's just an angle issue, not a... There's no extra room anywhere. But that's okay, you don't need too much. Just 4 bolts anyway. Okay, so there's like a 13mm bolt that's got a little bracket. It's kind of on the back side of water thermostats right here, water pumps right there. It's got the vacuum line, all this wiring harness on here. And I don't think we're gonna get this out of here. So. Okay, that probably got totally missed with my camera angle, but definitely went in a lot easier than it came out of there. Pump is just a little different setup or something, I don't know. Bummer about this thing is that it's leaking oil out of there, so. Mr. Gasket, I think he's gonna lay there like that. That gasket, as it lays down in there, it's got space for our slots, so the bolts, once you put them in, you hear it clicking. So it's actually holding itself on there because it's got some, this is the old one, it's got some, I don't know what you call these little notches in there anyway that grab onto the bolt. So once you get it lined up properly this way, you should be safe for it not to fall off anyway. Into position, watching that gasket doesn't pop off there. I'd say this is a hard job, it's just a little awkward. Okay, now let's see if we can get one bolt in. That's good there. Guess that's not tight, but it's not a lot of concern that it won't be in the right spot, but definitely don't want it to be in the wrong spot. As far as this goes, the worst thing you could do is bend that gasket. That would be the worst thing. I'm feeling reasonably confident we haven't done that. So. Okay, now that you can see there, kind of see a little better there. The pump is now mounted. Seems like we got everything back in place. Gotta say it went on better than it came off. If you're doing this at home, you're definitely gonna need some different size sockets and extensions and that sort of thing. So I would plan to do that. You'll never get it in there without that. You'll be beat till Kingdom Come, and you'll probably need extensions anyway. But yeah, we're gonna put the drive shaft on, the steering shaft back on, start there, and we'll plug that hose back in and this bolt, and then we'll go underneath and kind of figure out the wiring harness mess we got going on there now. Not back. Oh, for Pete's sake. I would use more battery powered lights because that would be easier than dragging these cords all over everything, but you know that they're going to be a pain because they're going to freeze when it's cold. So came down and went and go back up. Okay, that's good. Pushing the top guide, seat them in there, plug back in. Now on the bottom, pull this guy off, pop, and then you slide this guy over top. Miserable thing. It's gonna slide all the way on. You can get that guy to click, then you're far enough. Little cover goes back on. Good there. Back side there. Okay, so I just wrapped the belt around there, wrapped it around the top a little bit. They say that you're supposed to, there's some kind of tool you can use that holds the belt on place, but I feel like it's gonna go pretty easily on its own here. There you go. Belt's back on. Check on the back side of the crank pulley. Didn't leave any extra room there, but that's it. Pump is in. Now I'm just gonna do a little bit of zip tying here because my clips are all now broken. GM in their infinite wisdom never thought that maybe you might be doing this when it's cold outside. That'll straighten out. That plug never did come undone, so definitely not recommend worrying about that plug. Probably should replace that belt, but it honestly looks pretty good shape, so well, we didn't damage it going around there. Okay, so I managed to find another clip there for the right one. The left one we kind of made it work. Plug's not going anywhere on that side. Belt's in. Steering rack's tightened up. Put that skid plate back on. I'll get two in, the rest will be easy. So that's roughly how you change the vacuum pump on your 2014 to 18 Sierra, Silverado, Yukon, Suburban, Tahoe, etc. So can't really tell you that it makes a whole lot of difference in the pedal feel. It does feel a little bit firmer on the bottom end, so there's probably something to that. It wasn't giving me the warning every time I started or anything like that, so it was likely a bit of a glitch or whatever happened. It's failing slowly. So if you're ever seeing that light, I would recommend changing that right away because yeah, you don't want to be caught on the road without brakes, and probably won't leave you with no brakes, but they're going to be pretty limited, so you don't want to have that problem. So we're taking it on a trip, so I figured we better throw that thing in there. So that was a fun job. Not a real particular hard one. I would just plan to have some time, have some tools like the extensions, ratchets, that sort of thing, be able to jack it up, because it's good to get underneath there, but you can't get underneath without jacking the truck up. So those are kind of the things we're looking at. If you want to do this, of course, the link in the description for the parts itself. There's also a couple of little tools that might help you if you're doing this yourself. You might thin it out, simplify the process for you. So, of course, a belt, pump, a couple of tools, and that sort of thing are all links in the description you can check out. So, hopefully it helps you. Hopefully save you a few bucks. I'm sure that's a $1,000 job at the dealership. So, a few hours of your time will be worth it, and you'll be stopping a lot more effectively. So, take care. Have a great day.